students, welcome to program Bachelor of Science first year, subject Botany, semester 2, course code BOG 102, course title Coastal Mangrove Ecology, Unit 7, Conservation and Management Strategies Restoration Technology, module name Species Selection. I am Ms. Marina Janice Rodriguez, Assistant Professor at DCT's Tempe College of Arts and Science, Miramar, Goa. In this module, we will be seeing the introduction to conservation methods, need for conservation of mangroves, species selection for mangrove conservation strategies. By the end of this module, you will be able to justify the need for conservation of mangroves, explain the occurrence patterns of mangroves, and list the various mangrove species found in Goa. We know that mangroves provide us with many ecological services, such as coastline defense against natural calamities like cyclones. They also improve the coastal water quality. They serve as breeding and nesting grounds for fishes, crustaceans, bivalves, and migratory birds. Mangroves also sequester carbon. The need for mangrove conservation and management. On understanding the role played by mangroves in our ecology, you will realize that mangroves are very important and hence we need to save them. In addition to that, there is urban development and population growth which have increased the demand for mangrove products such as seafood. As well as diversion of water, it has increased the agricultural load and the municipal solid waste and sewage. In India, large coastal cities are turning tidal creeks and channels into disposal drains for large quantities of municipal sewage, much of which ends in mangrove systems. The key issue is not just destruction, but slow degradation of mangrove ecosystem through pollution, siltation, changes in salinity, and loss of biodiversity. Mangrove conservation efforts are largely aimed at preventing destruction of mangrove ecosystems and increasing coverage, such as these seen in the picture. Species selection for mangrove conservation strategies. Occurrence patterns of mangroves. Before we think about conserving mangroves, we should understand the requirement that goes into having mangroves in a particular region, or how the mangroves occur in its own habitat. We see that mangroves grow in intertidal regions along the estuaries, backwaters, islands, and other protected areas. Intertidal regions are those regions which are subjected to low tide as well as high tide in one day. Mangroves prefer soft clay mud for their growth. The expanse of mangroves also depends on the intertidal expanse, substratum, salinity of the soil as well as of the water. The inundation, that is the flooding of the mangrove region during the tides, is also an important factor which determines the occurrence of mangrove. Zonation in mangroves. The mangroves may occupy well-defined zones dominated by a single species or a group of similar species arranged parallel to the shoreline or to the margins of the estuaries. The distribution of mangrove species and communities according to their zones is often related to either the variation in substrate characteristics or in terrain level within the mangrove area, depth and duration of tidal submergence or exposure to atmospheric conditions, or salinity that influences the establishment and zonation of mangroves. For example, Avicennia marina has a wide range of salinity tolerance but shows optimal growth at the salinity of seawater. Thus, it serves as a pioneer on advancing mangrove margins. Aegiceros corniculatum grows well in water that is less saline than the seawater. Sonaretia alba is also a frequent pioneer species that prefers water of sea salinity. These three species can be used to start or restore mangrove plantation as they are pioneer species. The pioneer species are backed by a rhizophora zone, meaning the rhizophora species, and then the communities of Brigaria, Cereops and Lumnizera occur. These are some of the mangrove species occurring in Goa: Acanthus illicifolius, Aegesiros corniculatum, Avicennia marina, Avicennia officinalis, Brigaria cylindrica, Brigaria gymnorrhiza, Cereops tagal, Exocaria agalocha, Rhizophora apiculata, Rhizophora mucronata, Sonaretia alba, Sonaretia caesiolaris, Lumnizera racemosa, Xylocarpus mollensensis, Candelia candle, and the only edible fern which occurs in the mangroves is Acrosticum aureum. These are my references. Thank you.